Hey, this is Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion with the Detroit Red Wings. You're listening to Out of Bounds, Detroit Sports on sportsradiodetroit.com.
sportsradiodetroit.com.
We don't need TV to entertain us. He said anus.
They're 7-4. It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
This is the team that at one point traded for Tim Tebow to make him a tight end. So we'll see what their kinds of a tight end is.
They don't know what a tight end is.
They don't.
Lady cops. Hot or not?
How big are the cans?
When they're wearing their uniforms, it's kind of a hide-a-rack situation, right?
Dan was really depressed about the game on Saturday. He went out, got some ruckus.
Had some trouble. I met a lady cop. I was drunk and disorderly, nude.
Drunk and disorderly, the story of an Irish sports fan coming this fall.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Welcome. Out of Bounds Detroit Sports. David Faze, Geoff Mell, myself, Dan Griffin, invading your ear hole, as always, on sportsradiodetroit.com, Apple Podcasts, wherever the hell you listen to those podcasts. Thank you for tuning in. And we have to apologize because I don't think we ever actually told the people that we weren't doing a show on Monday.
No, didn't even tell me.
I completely forgot to put anything out on social media. Oh God, I'm the worst.
Well, we didn't decide until about 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing what everybody else was doing, watching the Lions game, right? Yep. And that turned out okay. Mm-hmm. I guess
it did.
I mean,
I guess
Jeff's so excited about it that he's back on the bandwagon. He's wearing his Lions sweatshirt today, so we're all good there.
I'm back.
Are you back on?
Never got off.
Aaron Rodgers was on Tampa! Lions!
Since the Lions beat the Packers at Lambeau, should we make Mike recreate that?
Jim Caldwell
here next time.
Jim Caldwell has 2 wins at Lambeau Field.
He's 2-2
in the last 4 years. So suck on that, Mike. Jim Caldwell's got 2 wins at Lambeau Field.
Oh, I bet that makes sense.
How many losses at Lambeau Field do they have in total in those 4 years?
Do you know, guys?
Probably less than 10.
Do you guys know Mike doesn't listen to the show?
Oh, the Packers?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, of course Mike doesn't listen to the show.
Not even, I don't think he ever has. Not to himself, not to us.
He's not loyal.
It's fine. He's here. You know, he comes here every week. Mike Tripp Research Department.
He didn't this week, and that's kind of part of the reason we didn't do a show.
That is part of the reason we didn't do a show. I was like, hey, Dave, Mike's going to go watch the Packers-Lions game with his dad and brothers. What do you want to do? All right, let's watch the game.
Yeah.
Yep. It worked out just fine.
Yep, it's true. I mean, we can start there, guys. I mean, basically, since we didn't do a show for Monday,
yeah,
I think we better start with why we didn't do a show Monday.
Yeah.
And recap Lions-Packers.
That seems reasonable.
We're having a show meeting right now is what we're doing.
We knew what you were doing before.
It wasn't a show meeting until you said it was a show meeting.
Yeah, come on.
You made it a show meeting.
I mean, I just want to start with your boy number 9.
Yeah.
Dropping more dimes than David Faze's grandmother in a post office parking lot. That is how many dimes he dropped in that game.
Yep.
Neither of my grandmothers are still alive, so I appreciate that.
More dimes.
But she used to go to the post office, right?
I don't know.
Probably dropped a lot of dimes there.
More dimes than Kevin Love and Damian Lillard. Dropping dimes.
That was so stupid.
Oh, I loved that commercial. Loved it.
Well, I mean, it was hilarious.
It was hilarious. He was a baby.
That's so weird. So weird.
Dropping dimes.
In the little front backpack thing.
That was great.
What the hell are those called?
I don't know. But, yeah. He looked good. That was the best game he's played all year, I think.
one of the better games of his career,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Like, it didn't matter that, like, people, Aaron Rodgers is out. Well, Aaron Rodgers doesn't play defense. So guess what? It didn't matter. He carved.
Awesome if he did, wouldn't it?
He carved that defense up.
What position would he have to play? Safety or something, right?
He carved that defense up. Yeah, probably cornerback.
There's more of an air of confidence, it felt like, in the offense this week.
He commanded
Which
it.
was nice. They still can't run in short yard situations, but what are you going to do?
Oh, my God. I'm literally done with every running back experiment, though. And I'll tell you this. When it comes to their lack of ground attack, ultimately, that's the thing that makes me go, okay, this team
How far can it really go?
can't compete the way that we... I mean, okay, so what have I told you that I won't be satisfied with? I will not in any way be satisfied with getting another wild card bid and getting bounced by whoever they play on the road this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's not enough for me.
No.
So
It shouldn't be enough for anybody.
that's kind of the trajectory that I feel like they're on after this game.
I don't know. I mean, the little intro you had, and where it said, Lions are 7-4. I have no idea what's going on right now.
Actually, I think we were talking about the Jets. Or no, we were talking about the Lions. Because then the Tebow thing came in.
Yeah, you cut that up. It's not like it's like one long. But there's a very good chance that they're 7-4 again with the schedule that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got the Browns coming up, and you got what? You got the Bears.
They got the Bears and they get the Vikings at home on Thanksgiving.
Yep, and you already beat the Vikings on the road.
Right.
So unless Teddy Bridgewater is healthy and comes back and leads you to some sort of victory, I don't see the game changing very much.
I don't even know if a healthy Teddy Bridgewater automatically
it would
equals a
change
win
that game.
for them.
Yeah,
I would consider the game against the Vikings on Thanksgiving the de facto elimination game for the NFC North for either team.
Yeah.
I think for whoever wins that game is going to win the North.
I mean,
Probably.
yeah, probably with only a few games left to
Well,
go.
and Minnesota's got the probably the toughest part of their schedule now. So
Yeah, and lucky
Some
for
games
the,
on the road
lucky for
and-
the Lions, they played, in the first half of the season for the most part. They played the Steelers. They played the Giants suck. Arizona, the Panthers.
well,
the
Arizona
Saints.
wound up not being
Like
what
the
we thought they were
Saints
gonna
are
be either.
actually kind of turning around. They're playing pretty well, so it's not like it was that big of a loss. Carolina is probably a lock to make it to the playoffs this year.
That's a fact.
So they got the tough part out of the way, and now the division is theirs for the taking with the easy part of the schedule all ahead of them.
So you're looking at it like this. You're looking at it. Well, hey, they're 4-4, and the first half of the season was a lot tougher. So you're more on the opposite, the optimistic side of this 4-4 record.
If you just look at the quarterbacks and the schedule that they have, I mean, they're going to play Mitch Trubisky twice. They're going to play
Isn't it Mitchell Trubisky?
Andy Dalton and Joe Flacco.
both on the road, I believe.
Mitchell
though.
Trubisky, Matthew Boyd, and Nicholas Castellanos. all need to hang out and be arrogant
Deshaun
together.
Kaiser, possibly Ryan Fitzpatrick with Tampa Bay,
Is it even going to be
and
Deshaun
maybe
Kaiser?
Brett Hundley again. So look at that quarterback matchup, and don't tell me that you don't have a chance.
By the
to win
time
every
we
one of
get to
those
the Browns, by the time we get to the Browns on Sunday, it might be one of the McCown brothers. Who the hell knows?
games. Yeah. Luke comes back.
It's one of them. It's going to be one of them. I don't even know which is which anymore. They're just the same.
You throw like a blind baby waving
Let's just
bye-bye.
run the
Which one is starting for the Jets right
You
now?
should just run the Wildcat with Jabril Peppers.
Josh.
Yeah. Josh is competent quarterback.
You're just saying that because you picked him up for your fantasy team.
No, I
because
don't.
you were
I
desperate
don't
one
have
week.
him. No, he's been playing decent.
Luke's a competent backup.
The nice thing about fantasy is you kind of get
Is that it's not real?
Well, no, is that you kind of get to keep up with all the guys around the league and kind of how they're playing based on their fantasy numbers because they're matched up against all these other guys. So you get an idea of who's playing well and when they're playing well and how well they're playing. And Josh McCown right now in fantasy is like a top 10 quarterback. What are you going to do? He's putting up good numbers. Jets are winning games. He's competent.
Yeah, like I said, I think I said this to you guys last week, but I clearly picked the wrong. Not to say that I think they're actually going to win the division, but I picked the wrong year to go out on a limb and pick the Jets to win the division, which was last year. Is when I picked.
I
them
feel like
an idiot.
I feel
Not
like I
gonna
picked
win
the wrong
division.
year to go out on a limb and pick Jacksonville to win their division. Because I did that last year.
Yeah.
And then all of us that were high on Tennessee.
Hey, man,
looked
there's nothing
stupid
wrong with
and-
being too early on a team.
Jesus.
Because what you do is all you're doing is going, hey, I saw it. Just didn't pan out that first year. Maybe in Dave's case for the Jets, it's a little premature. But
Listen,
the Jacksonville just needed some. They needed
no,
a
wait a
running
minute.
back. And
I picked the Jets last year, and they sucked. And then this year, I think we all
I mean,
thought
they
they were going to
still
be terrible.
suck, Dave. We know they still suck.
Don't they have a winning record?
Yeah, but they still suck.
All right.
Just because you have a winning record doesn't mean you're not very good.
Do the Pistons still suck? Are you
No,
ready to
We're
say
not going to that yet.
Come on.
I'm not going
That's
to
a
that
perfect segue.
yet. Kind of, except for we. Okay, fine. Pistons it is.
Yeah, we haven't even finished the Lions.
All right,
you-
fine.
Premature.
I guess I was just.
He just
looking.
wants to get to the picks.
Yeah, right.
and end the show.
End the show.
I'm done.
A solid 22-minute podcast.
Yeah,
tonight.
we just peed our pants over the Lions win against the Packers, do the picks, and go take a nap.
That's it.
That's what our podcast has become.
I will say that though the Lions defense does not rank, like if you look at their total defense, they don't rank very high. I think they're still like closer to 20 than they are 10, but
They're in the teens somewhere.
it's how they play and when they make the plays that have really made them look pretty good this year.
Are we still talking about the Jets?
God damn it, God.
I'm kidding. Go on.
I don't know what to do. I'm disheartened now.
You're the one. I mean, you're the one that loves the foreign.
You
flag.
watched the game?
I did. I watched some of the game.
Do you honestly think they're not very good?
I don't know.
What do you mean don't know?
I know that's a shitty opinion to have on a sports podcast, but it's just the identity with the Lions seems to shift all the time, with the exception of the running game, because that's just always bad.
Yeah, the offense is basically throwing
I don't
the ball.
think the defense's identity has shifted at all. I think the defense has been basically what it's been all year.
No, but the defense has looked worse because they're over the last 3 games before this. The offense had put them in such bad positions.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They didn't even play bad in those games. Like you can't say the defense played bad.
No, I
against
didn't
Pittsburgh.
say. I didn't say they did play bad. Badly.
And it's crazy how much the Saints game inflates all the statistics against the Lions.
Oh yeah, you have one game like that as a team.
They were
and all of a
averaging
sudden, yeah.
the Lions are averaging like 23 points against the
It's
game.
like
And
Rick-
I'm looking at the games going, they did not let up 23 in every one of those. Close to 23.
It's
in every
like
one of those games.
it's like Rick Porcello's annual start in Anaheim.
Yeah. And he's got like a 4.0 ERA because he got shelled in one inning, 12 runs.
Or it's that one start against the Indians for Justin Verlander every year.
Yep.
There's always
for
one.
sure.
There's always one.
Let's see.
Are we as happy for the Astros as we were for the Cubs? Do you realize we
No.
barely talked about
we
that
didn't.
except for when we talked
I don't
to
think
Tony?
Talked to
I don't.
Tony.
Were we
Yeah,
all
except
really
for when we
excited
talked to
about
Tony.
the Cubs? I don't think our show was really that thrilled for the
No,
Cubs.
no, but the world lost their minds.
Well, yeah, but the Astros don't have this. The thing is, it's funny because
Been around since the 60s and never won a title.
In a normal year, nobody would have cared. Unfortunately, it's just the way that baseball is.
Yeah.
But because of the way that team became a rallying source for the city and everything that they had gone through, it was something that more people than normal actually paid attention to, I think. So I think there were people that typically wouldn't have really cared a whole lot about what was happening in the World Series that weren't necessarily sitting there watching every game going, oh my God, I hope the Astros win, hope the Astros win, hope the Astros win. But I think that we're legitimately happy for the Astros and what that meant for the city. And so I think to a certain degree, yes, I think people were very happy for the Astros, but I just don't think the Cubs is just a different brand. So, like you said, the world lost their minds when the Cubs won. So,
Oh God!
by the way,
And Geoff didn't think I'd be able to play that again.
So when we were talking to Tony. This is just a random thing, but when we were talking to Tony, we were obviously talking about how good the Astros are and how good they more than likely will continue to be.
So
for the
you
next
didn't
several
want to
years.
talk about the Pistons because we weren't done with the Lions yet, but we're totally good talking about the Astros.
Yeah, I'm not okay with that.
I got you, Dave.
I didn't accept the Astros talk.
Sucked you right in.
Well, that's fine.
He did.
Uh,
He did suck right in.
But I saw something today. Somebody was projecting a few different free agents to different places, and I liked the idea of Wade Davis to the Astros. That sounded pretty good to me. So that's what they needed, or that's what they need as a good closer.
Make you sweaty in your loins, Dave?
No.
Pistons make me sweaty in
Gross.
my loins.
I knew you would say
You
that.
knew that was coming?
That's good.
Yes!
That's good because now we can talk about him.
I knew that Geoff was.
We can talk about Jeff's sweaty loins.
That Geoff was going to be all in on this 8-3
I'm
start.
not all in on this 8-3 start.
I mean, this team is going to compete for an NBA championship.
I do
this
not
year, Jeff
believe
Bell.
what I see in any way, shape, or form.
Piston fans up on your feet!
It's like watching like David Blaine. You know that what he's doing. What you
What?
You see it, but you know it's not real. you know it's not real magic. You know the Pistons aren't this good. So there's an illusion here that's going on.
Well, part of it too is that outside of the win against the Warriors, which I'm not going to take away from them. Like that's an accomplishment going to Golden State and winning. I don't give a shit. Even on Golden State's worst day,
Going to the Staples Center and beating the Clippers is good
a
too.
7-0 Clippers team.
and the Lakers game was a bit of a throwaway game because it was getaway day from the West Coast
That
trip.
shit always happens. Yeah.
So give credit to that.
Yeah.
But in these last what has it been 2 or 3 now that they've beaten up on some pretty mediocre Eastern Conference teams. The Pacers,
Milwaukee's decent.
Milwaukee's
pretty decent. I think that's a good win.
in comparison to the Warriors, though. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but that's unfair because that's almost anybody in comparison to the Warriors, other than maybe the Cavs are not great right now.
The one that I look at though, obviously, is last night's game against the Pacers. Right?
Yeah.
You bombed them, and you should.
Yeah.
So.
But there's something to be said for that too, because I don't think that they did things like that last year.
And they lost.
They didn't win games like that and blew teams out when they should have.
And early in the year, they lost to a really good Washington team with like 5 seconds.
They got down big early though in that game.
Yeah, but they came out and they only lost by like
they lost
2
to
or 3
Washington,
points.
and then their other 2 losses are to 2 young up and coming type teams. Teams with a lot of youth and
the
Sixers
Lakers
and
I don't even count, but the Sixers. The Sixers make sense because they have a very good matchup. Most teams don't have a guy that goes up against Andre Drummond that well.
Yeah, they haven't beaten.
And they haven't beaten. He just took him to task. It's like when they play Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis crushes Andre Drummond every time they play.
He crushes most guys.
Or Boogie Cousins does. It's just
I'm
the way it is.
going to be very curious to see how that the first Pistons-Pelicans game goes this year. Now that both those big guys are down there, and how it's going to work.
They beat a shitty. Who they just beat a couple nights ago? That's really bad.
Oh, Sacramento.
Kings
are shitty.
They just beat up on them.
But that was one of those weird games where they didn't actually play very well.
No, they didn't.
And they
just beat them because they're better than them.
Yeah,
basically, not because they played well or anything.
Right.
They just beat them because they're more.
But I'll tell you what. Ever since Embiid called Drummond out, and rightfully so, because Drummond looked like hot garbage against Embiid. Embiid made him look like an idiot. Drummond's been pretty damn good since that Sixers game.
Yeah,
he really has.
His free throws have been.
I was going to say
crazy.
it starts at the free throw, and are you noticing that like kind of what Stan said is kind of coming to fruition? Like it honestly for everything at the offensive end, at least the way that it appears right now, it all started at the free throw line, and the rest of it came from there.
Well, yeah, because he had no confidence in his offensive game with it in the back of his mind all the time that all they have to do is follow me and I'm going to look like an idiot.
You're actually seeing Andre Drummond try to get fouled now. Like he wants to go to the free throw line.
Yeah.
He's attacking the basket, and he's getting pissed when he doesn't get the and one call.
Yep, and that's good. to see.
That is brand new. We have never seen that out of Andre Drummond.
He early on, again, it's very early on. We're 11 games into the season.
Do I think he's going to shoot 70%?
No. But I also think that he has seemingly made a more concerted effort on the a concerted
Just
effort.
pass me the candy, Dave.
All right, eat it. He's made a more concerted effort to be, in my opinion, to be a bit of a better rim protector early on in the season too. He's been making more of an effort to alter shots. And all that kind of stuff. And his ability, and this is something that Chapman was talking about when we had him on a couple weeks ago now, about just how freakishly athletic Andre Drummond is for his size, right? And I mean, we all knew that before this year. It's not like that's a new revelation, but you get a chance to appreciate the way that he can move that most guys his size aren't able to move, and how he gets in passing lanes and gets these steals. I mean, he's in like the top 10 in the league right now early on in steals per game, and he's the only guy that's not a guard. He's very good at getting in the lane. He is. I think he's making a more concerted effort to be a really try hard defender this year, which is huge. When he puts the whole thing together, he has all-star level skills. There's no debating that.
That was always the thing with Andre. It's just that he wasn't focused.
Yeah.
And it's good to see him focused. It's good to see him playing aggressive. Good to see him looks like he's finally comfortable.
He looks much leaner too.
But how about Tobias Harris, man?
Tobias is smoking it right now.
The dude's shooting 47% from 3.
Yeah, you keep waiting it to come down to me, and I think it will eventually.
Oh,
a little
yeah.
bit, but
Water
still.
wins.
Yeah. Still impressive in 11 games.
I'll tell you this.
He's averaging 20 a night.
I don't think it's unheard of to think that even if it comes down somewhat, I don't think it's unheard of that Tobias could be a 38, 39%er as when the year finishes.
Maybe a little bit higher.
That'd be fine. That's
40%,
perfectly acceptable.
40%, yeah. Who knows? Maybe he's just hitting his prime.
You know,
he looks good.
We another thing that we talked about with Jake, I'll touch on again because I do think that it's an important thing to mention.
Hey, it's Jake Chapman from Pistons.com.
I don't think was necessarily a bigger me and Sam talk about all the time, but I don't think there was a bigger Marcus Morris fan than me. I loved Marcus for what he stood for, but he just isn't a good enough player to be. And you've said it yourself, Dan, and I completely agree with you. Marcus Morris is a perfectly acceptable rotational piece on a good basketball team.
Yeah,
but he needs to be a bench piece. That's what he should be. And if you're a good enough team to have Marcus Morris on your bench, that's a good thing. But getting rid of him and giving Tobias the opportunities that he should have been getting all along and actually making him a focal point has been so good.
Yep.
And he looks so confident. He looks like he's in rhythm all the time. And the best thing about seeing him pick up that scoring punch is that now you don't need to have rescue us at the end of the game Reggie anymore. So it makes Reggie better because Reggie doesn't have to be relying on one part of his skill set. And Reggie looks like he's playing all right.
Look, bottom line is, I think everything is going right for the Pistons right now.
I mean, it is, but is that necessarily a luck thing, or is it indicative of them just being a better basketball team?
I think
I'm not saying they're going to finish with 60 wins, but
no, I think it's both.
I think you got yourself a bona fide playoff team.
Yeah,
what does that mean though? Like that's
right now in the East, and they could go a lot farther than you think because there's a lot of garbage in the East right now.
Yeah, and it depends.
Right, but you gotta.
Right now, it appears smoke and mirrors, right? But it's not to say that this team can't be really competitive in the East. And by that, I mean maybe win a couple playoff series. That's probably the best they'll do.
Wow, Geoff.
That's the best they'll do.
No, I think that's fair if he's calling it a ceiling.
If
I think
you
that's
don't
fair.
run into the Cavs or the Celtics in the first 2 rounds, they can easily win a series or two.
Okay, I will agree with that if you can point out to me a path where that's going to happen. Because the bottom of the East, I'll give you this, the bottom of the East is really, really bad. But there are at least 3 to 4 teams at the top of the East that I still believe are significantly better than the Pistons.
All right, so you have Washington, you have Washington,
you have
Cleveland, you have Boston, and then you have Toronto.
You have Milwaukee.
And Milwaukee, and then the Pistons.
Mm-hmm. And I think all of those 4 teams are significantly better than the Pistons, and I think that if you take any of them on in a playoff series, hey, if you force it to 6, awesome.
I think the only 2 teams in the East that are legitimately better teams, and one of them still has some things to figure out, but I think they will, is the Cavs and Boston and Celtics. That's it. I don't think anybody else is markedly better than the Pistons.
I agree with Dave. I don't think Toronto is what they were 2 years ago, and I don't think and Milwaukee, I mean, they're good, but they're just an up-and-coming team like the Pistons are.
Milwaukee
just because they have a star. I mean, they do have a star.
They've got a bona fide perennial all-star on their team.
Yeah, they certainly do. They certainly do. But if I will say this too, to that regard, if you get a dialed-in Andre Drummond for your entire season, you have an all-star on your basketball team. There's no question.
Yep.
Okay.
He played very well against
Avery
the
Bradley's
Bucks.
been great.
He's everything that he needs to be for this team. He's exactly as advertised.
He's like that missing piece. I feel like on this team that like with like when you switched him out, it's like night and day. Now the machine runs smooth with Avery Bradley.
And another guy who's I think probably going slightly unheralded right now, not because he's not necessarily he's not adding necessarily a scoring punch, but a guy who's doing a lot of really good things right now is Stanley Johnson,
shooting 40% from 3.
That's a bit of a misnomer. I think. I don't think he's going to be a 40% shooter. No. But
I know.
But Stanley.
See what I'm saying though? Like there are some numbers right now that are
really
just
inflated,
freakishly off.
But I will say this:
I don't think Tobias' shooting percentage, Stanley Johnson's percentage from 3, Andre Drummond's free throw percentage.
I don't think Stanley Johnson's 40% three-point percentage is really winning you ball games one way or No. It's not affecting. Yes, it's nice that Stanley can hit a couple of corner threes and stuff this year and look more confident doing it. That's great. But I don't think that's necessarily going to be something that's going to win you a bunch of ball games. he probably won't lose you a game now because of it, but I don't think he's going to necessarily. He's not going to be a guy that's going to get a last second shot unless some team dials up the best defense you've ever seen, and that's the only guy open.
All I really want to see out of the Pistons this year is because I don't give a shit about a playoff appearance. That doesn't mean anything to me. Not in the East, not in this terrible
East.
There. But all I really want to see is some sort of identity going forward. That's all I really want to see. Like, are they going to give us an idea of where they want to go from here? Because I don't think this team as currently assembled, is good enough to win you anything of significance. Currently assembled.
No, you're not going to win an Eastern Conference championship or go to the finals or anything.
You got to show me something that leads me to believe that you're building to some sort of crescendo.
Yeah,
because the Warriors aren't going to be around forever. The Cavs aren't going to be around forever.
If they're 10 games over 500 with 40 games into the season, I think that's a really good sign that they're decent. That they're a decent team in the East.
And I can get behind that because for me, the NBA doesn't start till Christmas anyway.
Yeah, for the most part.
So we'll see.
Yeah, football's got to ride out before the NBA really starts being the showcase.
And, do you think the Pistons have a Christmas Day game this year? No, they don't.
No, of course they don't.
They play the day after, I believe.
They shouldn't. I mean, I'd love to see them, but they shouldn't.
Isn't it Cavs Warriors are going to be on Christmas?
Yeah, they always do the finals teams.
I think and I think the Celtics play somebody on Christmas as well. And I don't know who it is. Might be like the Wizards or somebody.
Yeah, probably. And then Houston and probably the Thunder or somebody will play.
Man, there's some. I'll tell you another thing about the NBA season as a whole right now. There's some weird combos of players that were created this year that I'm not sure how well they're working.
How about Oklahoma City?
Yeah, Oklahoma City.
The Pistons have 4 wins against Western Conference teams. The Oklahoma City Thunder have 0. They don't have any Western Conference wins right now.
You know why? Because that shit was never going to work.
No, you put Carmelo Anthony on the team.
And Paul George. You put 3 of the most isolation players on the same team.
No, make no mistake about it. I think Russ and Paul George could work. Could work okay.
Yeah,
because Paul George is a selfless enough player that he would.
I think you're going to call him a selfless nut.
Selfless nut. No, they'd find a way to make that one work, and I think it would have been okay. But I don't think Russ and Carmelo work as a duo, and I certainly don't think that you add Carmelo into those other 2 guys and have it be successful.
Nobody works with Carmelo as a duo. As a duo, he belongs on the island of misfit toys. He doesn't fit anywhere. And I think most of that is his fault. I will say that. I will say that I don't really think it's tough to figure out about Carmelo because he doesn't seem like an idiot, right? Like does he give off that impression to you?
No, he doesn't seem like an idiot. He just isn't good at basketball.
The best team with Carmelo,
but he's always been a proficient scorer,
right?
But I don't think
not really. He's a volume shooter.
I don't think he knows
not quite to this. Not quite Russell Westbrook volume.
Any other way?
No, Russell Westbrook's good at all the other things too.
He's still averaging nearly a triple-double, which is crazy.
Is he any more of a volume shooter than James Harden?
No.
James Harden's a better shooter.
He probably is. No, the funny thing about Carmelo...
You just named 2 good shooters.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
And Carmelo's not a good shooter. He's just a volume shooter. He shoots 30 times a game, and he makes 10 and gets us 20.
I think it's a little unfair.
No, it's not. That's how he's always been.
Think about this. The best team and or, couple years of a team that Carmelo Anthony has ever played on was when he played with Chauncey Billups in Denver.
I think maybe a little bit of that was the fact that Carmelo was young. Then he had to take over the damn team.
He was young, but he wasn't like. I mean, he'd been in the league 7 years at least, or something like that.
He was young in the same way that Andre Drummond's young. You know what I mean?
Let's think about this. Chauncey got traded 2008 or 2009. One of those 2 years, I don't remember. So Carmelo had been in the league by 5 or 6 years by the time Chauncey got there. So yeah, he was still young, but he was also a vet, and so he had established what his game was in the NBA. And Chauncey came in, and Chauncey was Chauncey. He was fantastic, and that team went to a Western Conference Final. I mean, there are ways to make things work with Carmelo, but it's got to be perfect. That's the problem.
I don't think they went to the. No, they lost in the second round.
I think they went.
They
to the
lost in the
finals.
semis because I'm pretty sure Carmelo Anthony has never played in a conference final before.
I thought they went to the conference finals.
I don't think so.
I think he's actually only won one playoff series, and that was the one you're talking about.
It's really fun when you mistype things and
let's figure this out.
I'm gonna
going back in the Wayback Machine into the can.
But bringing it all back around. Yeah, Pistons playing good.
Jeff's buying in.
No, I'm not buying in.
He's all in. You've pushed every chip you have to the center of the table.
I'll guarantee it right now. I'll push all my chips into the table. They're a playoff team this year.
I'm not even going to come close to taking that bet because this East is so bad.
I don't want you to take it. I'm just telling you, if that's where my chips are going to have to go, that's where they'll go. I'm not going to sit there to win anything. That's a whole different argument.
Yep, I was right. They went to the Western Conference Finals, lost to the Lakers the year the Lakers and Magic played in the finals.
I swore that was the second round.
Oh, the good old Magic.
Denver
Stan
Nuggets
Van
were
Gundy
the
days.
Western runners-up. That
Stan
was the
Van
Western
Gundy
Conference Finals.
heyday.
What did you say, Jeff?
I was Stan Van Gundy heyday with the Magic.
Yeah, with Dwight, and that team had a really legit shot to win that championship, and they flamed out in the finals.
That was a strangely assembled team too. Like defensive dynamo Michael Petrus knocking down threes.
Wasn't that
Turkoglu?
Yeah,
they had Rashard Lewis, right?
Yeah, Rashard Lewis was like one of the highest paid players in the
NBA.
NBA.
Jameer Nelson was the point guard.
Yep. Jamal Lewis, he got his ring with Miami, I believe. Rashard Lewis won a ring with Miami. LeBron.
Along with Juwan Howard.
Yep.
90-year-old, the corpse of Juwan Howard.
Just play Rashard Lewis $20 million a year.
What? Let's see. Let's look at this.
Never to be heard from again.
You know who else was on that team? Tyronn Lue.
Oh, Tyronn.
Jameer Nelson was your starter.
How long before, by the way, LeBron forces Tyronn Lue out of
yesterday?
Cleveland?
Yeah. Did you hear what Kyrie Irving said?
Yeah.
About Tyronn Lue? About how he wanted a more intellectual coach. That's why he went to go play the Celtics.
Wait, what does that mean?
The Tyronn Lue's an idiot.
Well, it was a pawn for LeBron.
This is coming from the guy. Yeah, exactly. It's basically AKA LeBron's head coach. But
could you just picture Tyronn Lue like at halftime or whenever he has to walk into the locker room with the guys, he just goes to his fucking office and just sits in a corner.
Yeah.
LeBron, go to your corner. Go to your corner, Ty. We're done with you.
Shut your mouth. But that's coming.
Speak when spoken to.
That's coming from the guy who thinks the Earth is flat, Kyrie Irving. So, what are you going to take?
A more intellectual.
Yeah. What are you going to take from that?
He's so nuts.
Does he even know what the word intellectual means?
No,
I don't know.
I don't know. Good old Kyrie. Oh, what a character.
You think so?
He is so good. He is so unbelievably good. I'm watching some of his highlights recently. He just torched the Lakers. Torched them.
Well, yeah, I mean, he made Lonzo Ball his bitch.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball.
Wait, who torched the Lakers?
Kyrie Irving.
Oh,
Lonzo Ball has only scored in double digits twice this year in 11 games.
Dude, his athleticism is just not there.
Ooh, who could have guessed that he wouldn't be that great?
Not there. Dude, I think he thinks the game really, really well. Like, I think he's got the game up here in his head. I don't know that it translates very well to his body at this point now.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Because he can find guys. Like, plus he's a proficient passer.
Plus you got guys out there just gunning for him every game. Like, I want to make this dude look like a fool. Like, more so than they do with just the other team they're playing that night. You know? Two random teams, unless they're, the two guys know each other and they don't like each other. You're not going to get that on a night-to-night basis. But in this case, everyone's like, fuck that guy.
It's too early to call him a bust, but he has not been good.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's going to be a bust as long as he.
Oh, I certainly think he's going to be a bust.
Bust is relative,
It is, but as long as he be a competent floor general, basically, and have those assist numbers and pick up some rebounds and do some of those things, and he's not, I will say this: if he's a guy that for the next couple of years averages 7 assists a game. And
what do you want to
5
be, a poor man's John Stockton?
But then only averages 7 points a game. That's not good. You can't have that.
No, I don't know.
Can't have that.
I don't know if his scoring. He was never a good shooter in the first place.
Somebody is going to have to force that kid to rework his shooting stroke because it sucks.
Yeah,
it's not even just that. Like, he can't get to the basket. He's just
block left and right.
He just
did against the Pistons.
So much slower than you would have ever even imagined.
He's
he would
wiry as hell. Well, you get to the NBA where all these guys are freaks, and when somebody is not to that upper echelon,
he's
you
not
see it
even
very
as good
quickly.
as the other guys, the other rookie class guys so far. There are better rookie class guys. Out there.
We don't know about.
There's one on his team.
We don't know about Fultz yet because he's mostly been hurt.
No, the guy on his team is better than him. That got drafted in like the second round. Oh, what's his name?
I don't even know what guy you're talking about. I forget things about the Lakers because I don't care. I mean, it's the Lakers. I don't really give a shit.
Mike Bush would slap you.
That's fine. He can do that.
Oh, Kyle Kuzma.
Oh, Kuzma's good.
Yeah, he's better than Lonzo Ball is.
I agree with this decision.
So I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
He has been better.
Ball.
He's certainly been better.
And then LiAngelo likes to go steal China things.
Dude, by the way.
Wait, that sounded really racist. What?
Do you not know about this story?
No, I know, but that's not the way you made it sound.
Yeah, he stole China things.
He stole
things from China.
He legitimately, I mean, that's what happened. It is legitimately what happened. Dude, somebody updated LiAngelo Ball's
the
ESPN and his current year's stats, and they just put a 1 underneath steals. It's pretty good.
You see the Chinese guy at I think it was at the Celtics game. He had a sign. It was like, "We made your shoes and you stole from us."
By the way, speaking of Chinese people and
So long, gay boys.
and potential, some racism issues, was I the only one that noticed that first game back in LA of the World Series after the whole thing happened with Yu Darvish and Gurriel, that they were showing the reaction the first time he came up to the plate, and they cut to a section of Dodgers fans that was strictly Asian people.
I would have too.
I swear to God. I was like, there's no way that was not on purpose.
It was on purpose. Of course it was. I would have too. Let's see these Asian
Not
people
my
boom.
problem.
And I also, by the way, love the fact that Rich Hill basically admitted after the game that he did walk off the mound.
Yeah,
So he could give them
they
more
could
time
boo
to
him.
boo.
Yeah, why not?
Just
So
great.
long, gay boys.
I love it.
And
Get in his head a little bit.
I think Gurriel was obviously in the wrong. I think he made a huge mistake. I think he'll learn from it. But goddamn, was that hilarious to watch them actively give more opportunity to boo him, which is totally fair. He was an asshole and he deserved it. So I thought it was funny.
It wasn't not funny. I'll tell you that.
Well, that was very diplomatic of you.
We gotta take a break. That was a really heavy sports segment, guys.
We never do that.
It's been a while since we've done that.
I like sports and I don't care who knows.
I would like the people to tell us if they like it that way. Do they like it when we're being wacky and silly and zany right at the beginning, or do they want to get right into the meat?
They like when Dan says nothing by saying things.
Yeah.
That's their favorite.
Well, that happens a lot.
Wow. I think we all do that.
We got to do the picks. We also have to play a fun game because for some reason David Faze is fascinated with the whiteness of Sammy Sosa.
Yes, he is. He should be. I think we all should be that fascinated.
Yeah, don't send me out on an island.
Wait a minute, but was there like a new story or something that I didn't?
No,
read?
I just saw a picture and
There's a new picture floating around.
And I went, holy fuck, what is this person?
So does he still look like Pepto-Bismol Lou Bega?
No.
Okay.
No, he's
I'm gonna find it.
He's a different shade now.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna play a fun game. Things Sammy Sosa is whiter than. This could get interesting and it could get a little bit racist. Holy shit.
That's exactly.
Oh my god.
Thank you. Now you understand.
Yes, I do.
Sammy Sosa is practically a Caucasian now.
Go ahead and post that.
That's
All
the
right.
title.
Jeez.
You're listening to Out of Bounds Detroit Sports. David Faze, Geoff Mell, myself, Dan Griffin. SportsRadioDetroit.com. Do not go away.
Hey, this is Brittany Wagner with Last Chance U, and you're listening to Out of Bounds Detroit Sports.
We're pretty much ready to go here with this podcast.
The hell is a podcast?
I like sports.
Football, volleyball, football, basketball, football, baseball, track, tennis, soccer. Do you like sports? Yes, I do. I do too. Which do you like more?
Oh my god. Song's terrible.
Welcome back. Out of Bounds Detroit Sports. David Faze, Geoff Mel, and myself, Dan Griffin, invading your ear hole, as always, on sportsradiodetroit.com or wherever the hell you listen to podcasts. Go to sportsradiodetroit.com. It's not all about us. Lots of other fantastic content out there. I feel like I've been neglecting talking about the other shows in recent weeks. Have I been doing that? I think I've been doing that.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to this show.
I was saying, are we even talking about like on our own show recently? I don't know what's happening.
There's other shows. Go listen to those too.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, by the way, we do actually have breaking news here on Out of Bounds Detroit Sports. Yes, this just in from the David Faze update desk. Apparently, there is a wrong way to eat a Kit Kat.
Yes, there is. I agree with Dave.
I'm not alone on this.
I agree with Dave.
These two, I got to tell the people what happened. These two absolutely berated me.
Yeah,
made
that's
me feel subhuman for the way that I was consuming my delicious crispy wafer chocolate treat.
Definitely some
known as the Kit
going
Kat.
Some prejudice going on.
I mean, wow. I have not received such vitriol from you two gentlemen in the entire time we've been doing this show.
Well, maybe you don't do such dumb things, and we won't have to
do
that kind of.
I'll tell you what, Dan. Go back to last season and go back to the show where we berated you on
last season. What are we, a sitcom now?
I was thinking Lions season. I said season, whatever.
This isn't Orange.
Go back to last year.
Yeah.
Go back to last year.
Not on season 3,
or or are we? No. But where we berated you about the fact that you just all you do is hark on the past with the Lions, and we called you out on some shit on that. That might have been the hardest we've gone at you ever about anything.
We teamed up on you in that case.
But I think we all agreed that like that was an opinion. I mean, you stated this Kit Kat thing.
It is a
like
fact.
It is cold, hard fact.
It's a fact.
And if you
like climate change. It's definitely a fact.
I would also say this. I would say the same thing if
the
someone...
Earth is round. It's a fact.
I don't know. Kyrie Irving would debate you on
like
it.
Bill Nye's a real science guy. It's a fact.
Yes. No, I would totally say the exact same thing about somebody grabbing a Reese's and just eating the whole thing at once.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Can't do that.
You
can't do that.
Wow. Next, you're going to tell me that I have to bite the gummy worm in half.
No, I'm not. That's fine. But
I mean, you can do that, but you don't have to. Now, are you telling people what you did? How you ate it? Because I don't think you had it.
I don't think you even said it, yeah.
So it's those fun-sized 2-packs, right? They come with the 2 sticks.
Yeah,
I open
not the large.
No, yeah, and
not the minis, but that the candy, the Halloween candy.
I consumed both sticks at the same time. I didn't break them in half.
He chomped it like it was a regular candy bar.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
It's break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Thank you.
But it's literally in the slogan song.
But that also implies that I'm giving somebody half of my fucking Kit Kat.
You could break yourself off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Why would I break myself off a piece?
Why would you eat it like that?
Because maybe you want to be a human, Dan, for one time, and just try to be normal.
It's like eating a steak with your hands.
Well,
who'd do that?
That's just what men do.
not even Ron Swanson eats a steak with his hands.
No, he doesn't.
You're gonna say not even Roger eats a steak with his
hands? Not Roger. I don't know. Maybe Roger does.
It's one of my favorite moments from Parks and Rec ever. Is the I think they're trying to give him like a plate of it. He's like,
the salad.
You've given me the food that my food eats.
Yeah, the salad.
That's so good.
When I eat, the food is afraid.
This is actual audio of this studio during the break after these gentlemen berated me.
Man, we broke a lot of things. Why were we breaking so many things?
That. I mean, it's just fucked up.
I just and the funny thing is, I said
like one of those serial killer
I mean, you looked at me like I was an animal.
I said
serial killer
this
profiling.
The second we got off the air on segment 1. I looked at Dan and I was like, Dan, I learned something about you just now that I didn't know before, and I'm a little disturbed by it. And Dan's like, "Oh yeah, what was that?" I said, "Apparently you're just an animal who'll just chomp down on a Kit Kat.
Do you
like, no
put
big deal."
ketchup on your fries? Or do you dip them?
I dip them.
All right, that's normal. You eat Kit Kats like people put ketchup on their fries.
The only time I put ketchup on my fries is if it's one of those situations where it's just a plate full of fucking fries and you don't have anything else to pour the ketchup on.
So you put it on one part,
yeah,
and then you dip, right? And then you dip.
No, I spread it on the fries.
Oh, that's awful.
Because
Yeah,
if you
that
put
sounds
it,
awful.
because if you put it onto one part, now you've soaked the shit out of a portion of your
I like
fries.
to just pile them to one side.
Oh, you know what I've done before? You know what I've done
I'll use
before
like
too?
a napkin and put it on a napkin.
Have you ever done this? If it's
Probably not.
the ketchup that comes in like the plastic squeeze bottle, like the ones that the refillable ones.
Okay, it's 2017. Plastic bottles should be the only ones. Smacking a glass bottle to get ketchup out with a fucking knife is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Have you ever done this
It's not
though in that situation?
The dark ages.
Because the ketchup comes out in such a straight line. Like I've actually applied ketchup to my fries one at a time.
I mean, you could do that. I don't have that kind of patience.
I mean, yeah, I'm not even gonna kill you for that one. I just think that sounds way too tedious.
Yes. I mean, if you're really
I wanna
bored,
go
you want to play with your food.
I was high when I did that.
Probably. Each one was a little
Smells
work
like
of art.
this little concert in here.
Anyway.
But yeah, Dan, basically, we're just trying to just learn how to be a human being, man.
You looked at me like I was a serial murderer.
Well, here's what actually happened. It took all of my strength the first time I looked over when you grab one of those and you chomp down, and I didn't even notice it initially because I don't pay that close attention. I just saw you after the fact holding it, and I went, he took one giant fucking bite out of that thing. What the hell is going on over here? So I legitimately was like zoned in on this Kit Kat in your hand, going like I don't even know how to comprehend what's going on right now. This isn't right. It's just not right. So I had to wait until the end. I had to bite my tongue.
Have you ever seen anybody do that before?
No, because other people are normal.
Yeah, animals. Animals eat their Kit Kats two at a time.
I probably.
I'm sorry, I'm not refined.
No,
you
you're
eat your pizza with a knife and fork too?
No, I definitely don't do that.
Snickers with a knife and fork.
That would be.
A cookie.
No, actually, I think eating pizza with a knife and fork would be the equivalent of eating your Kit Kat with one giant bite. Because the people that eat with a knife and fork are just messed up people. Pizza's meant to be eat with your hands. You're given. All you got to do is fold. It's like a plate and a food at the same time. You fold it. It's perfect. It's a perfect food.
Oh man. My buddy's loving the Sammy Sosa link.
It's a perfect food.
Share out the Sammy Sosa link if you haven't yet, because I shared it out.
You know the reason why pizza has a crust? So you can hold the damn thing. That's what it's for. Otherwise, it would just be a mass of cheese and toppings, and then you would how would you eat it? You'd have to just like slurp it up like soup.
What about this? I think I actually, for once, need to be the one that writes this listing ship. Yes. Normally, I'm the one that's sinking the damn thing.
Yes.
But here I am. Are you gentlemen ready to play?
Here we are.
What is Sammy Sosa whiter than?
I am ready.
Yes.
Let's get to it.
I like it. All right. Who's going first here?
I mean...
Oh, my God.
You know this song.
This is great.
You know what this is?
No.
It's Everlast.
Is it? What is Sammy Sosa whiter than?
This is the short version, though.
All right, Dave, you want to kick it off? Your game.
Sure. Sammy Sosa is whiter than queso blanco cheese. Yes, there's white in the name.
I do enjoy some
He is
queso blanco.
whiter. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to. I don't think I'd want to eat it around Sammy Sosa though.
No, he
Just
might
for
get
that
confused
very
that you're
reason.
eating his relatives or something.
He just is queso blanco cheese now. That's what he's become.
I mean, did you see the picture? I wouldn't put it past him.
Show me the picture one more time because I kind of want to like.
All right.
Imagine what he. I'm trying to think of what he looks like. Something.
It's like horrific.
Looks like queso blanco cheese.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit like. Well, you know who he looks like. I'll tell you off the air because I don't want to mention.
My buddy
this.
goes. He even.
I don't
want to
mention this.
He goes. He even has white people hair.
It's so
like,
weird.
What?
It is really weird.
Like, what are you talking about? All right, am I going next or are you going next?
You're going next.
Sammy Sosa is whiter than Wonder Bread. That's what he's whiter than.
It's fair.
Sammy Sosa is whiter than white supremacist rally itself.
Charlottesville.
It's whiter than a coal miner town. Go ahead, Dave.
Damn it, I should have thought it was Charlottesville. That would have been
Well, now mine's going to be slightly anticlimactic after the white supremacist thing. But my next one was going to be that Sammy Sosa is whiter than me now.
Definitely is.
You want to know what's hilarious?
I'm a pretty white guy.
That was one of mine.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Sammy Sosa, whiter than David Faze.
Yep. I only have 3 of them. So.
Outrageous.
Sammy Sosa is whiter than toilet paper.
Unused, unfortunately.
Yes, unused toilet
If he
paper.
looked like used toilet paper, he'd look like old Sammy Sosa.
Oh God,
I mean, he did kind of have
racist.
No, he just kind of had a poop colored flesh down.
Racist.
Are you saying Sammy Sosa was a bit chunky?
He was a bit chunky at a time.
He was when he was on the roids.
Yep.
Sammy Sosa, piggybacking on the white supremacist rally, is whiter than Donald Trump's constituency.
Ooh,
pretty fair.
I like it.
What do you got, Dave? Jeff, are you already out?
No, I got one more.
Sammy Sosa is whiter than my wife's wedding dress.
Pictures? Show the pictures.
In fairness, I will put it in fairness. My wife's wedding dress was off-white, technically speaking.
Was it really a white wedding?
It was off-white. However, there's no way Sammy Sosa should be whiter than that. And he is.
It's Sammy Sosa. Well, I'm going to skip that one because that's the one Dave already said.
Me?
Sammy Sosa is whiter than the crowd at the Country Music Awards.
Truth.
You might throw Cowboy Troy and Darius Rucker in that crowd at least.
Darius Rucker.
You got one more, Jeff?
Yeah. Sammy Sosa is whiter than Tommy Lawrence.
Yep.
Both in the head and outside.
Yes. And David Faze is whiter.
And I think has just as much product in his hair. Maybe more.
And your wedding party, Dave. Whiter than your wedding party.
Yeah, my wedding party was pretty white. I have my last one is just that Sammy Sosa is whiter than an albino zebra. Did you figure that one out? Yeah, it's just a white horse.
Albino zebra.
Yeah.
You're reaching for that one, Dave.
Sammy Sosa's whiter than the cocaine.
Well, whatever. You want me to go literal? He's whiter than a white horse. Same difference, man. It's the same damn difference.
I guess I'll cap this one off, gentlemen. Sammy Sosa is, in fact, whiter than any picture of Jesus found in an evangelical church.
Yes. I agree. He is whiter than any of those things.
Dude, it is so bizarre. I know we're going to move on from Sosa, but we were talking about this before we started the show tonight, that, like, the thing that confuses the hell out of me more than anything is, like, he's not the first person
Jeff, you better eat that Kit Kat the right way.
Yeah, he will. He's a normal person. No, we've seen people change their skin tone before. Obviously, Michael Jackson being the most famous one to have done it. But I was saying this, like, Michael Jackson, as crazy and weird as he was as a person, like, even at the end of his life when he looked like a white woman, basically, he still looked like a normal shade of white, right?
I don't know about that.
A lot more normal than Sammy, so I don't even know what color that is.
He was whiter than the rolls
very
under
pale.
Margaret Thatcher's belly.
He was very pale. He was very pale. I give you that. But I don't know what color that Sammy Sosa is. That's not even like a real white skin tone. I don't know what it is. At least, like you said earlier, at least he doesn't look like Pepto-Bismol anymore. Yeah, but I don't know what the hell's happening.
I don't know. He might have looked better like Pepto-Bismol.
It's so weird.
But I think that pink Lou Bega outfit he was wearing with that zoot suit.
Well, I think what happened was he had the same skin color as he has now, and he maybe just had really bad rosacea that day.
Damn rosacea. What do you got for us?
Screwed
What's
up,
happening,
man.
Dan?
It's screwed up.
Me?
We got college football, don't we?
Oh, me, he says.
We got a few things on tap. I mean, we could talk about the fact that the Zeke Elliott saga is finally over.
Is it though?
Is it?
It's got to be. It's got to be now. It's got to be. Like, it doesn't have any appeals left.
Who knows? I don't know how any of this works.
That's true.
It's like that commercial. That's not how any of this works. I have no idea how any of this works. I didn't realize you could have like 6 different appeals in 6 different courts.
That I don't know why this is totally a random reference, but you saying what you just said made me think of the The Family Guy episode where they reference Back to the Future and Brian sings. He's supposed to be Michael J. Fox's character, but he actually sings "Never Gonna Give You Up" by Rick Astley. And at the end of the song, there's just the one guy in the crowd that goes, "I didn't like any of that."
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm happy for all the fantasy football owners that get fucked by it. Happy for that.
Here's a song by a gay guy.
We're no strangers to love.
I like it.
You know the rules, and so do I.
So funny. Is that really Seth MacFarlane singing the song? Nice.
You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling.
Family Guy got rickrolled.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Seth MacFarlane seemed to know that everybody in Hollywood was getting touched.
Yes,
and he just made jokes on Family Guy.
He knew
about
everything.
It. He didn't do anything about it in real life. He just made Family Guy jokes.
There's an
about
episode where I think it's a Christmas themed episode where they're like at the mall. This is super early on, and Stewie runs through the mall lobby just yelling like, "Help me! Help me! I just left Kevin Spacey's basement."
I escaped from Kevin Spacey's basement.
This is like 2003.
And like nobody got the joke. So like nobody, and now you look back on it, it's like, oh, it's like the longest running joke ever that nobody understood.
Seth MacFarlane had all the dirt on everybody and didn't tell anyone. He just put it into jokes.
This is so weird. All that stuff. Like everybody's like, I was touched by this guy, or touched by that guy. It's like, why in the fuck did any of you say anything? Hundreds of you didn't say anything.
The Weinstein thing just opened the floodgates to all this shit. It's insane. It's absolutely. And the thing is, it's like as horrific as it is. Are either of you actually surprised by any of it?
No,
I'm not.
I am not. I am so desensitized to everything now.
Yeah.
Like it's almost kind of sad.
It's the weirdest thing. Like
the lack of emotion.
You don't see any of it in real life. But it goes on out there, and then you just read about it in these mass, like Louis C.K. is jerking off in front of people. What's all these guys jerking off in front of people? I've never wanted to just jerk off in front of somebody in my life.
Yeah, it's one of those things I don't want to get caught.
Louis C.K. is jerking off in front of people. Weinstein's jerking off in front of people. Got all these people just pulling out their dicks everywhere.
It's insane.
Just cranking one out.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, they're busy people.
He pulled it out.
Find some time.
Apparently,
like Tim Watley did to Lil Wayne.
Apparently,
pulled his dick out.
one of the golden children of Hollywood. One of the old guard of Hollywood, which is Dustin Hoffman. Apparently, was sexually assaulting some people back in the day. I don't know
the Dustin Hoffman thing is
happening.
he was just really creepy. He didn't really he touched a girl's butt a couple times, but. He never
So it was like normal office sexual assault stuff.
There's
sexual harassment.
Oh yeah, that's stuff.
I didn't mean sexual assault.
Well, I mean,
sexual
compared
harassment.
to some of the other
Sexual
stuff
harassment.
that has come out about people, it's pretty tame. And then there's a lot of stuff where
he wasn't jacking off in front of anybody.
And then there's a lot of stuff where you're just like, these guys are just creeps. They're not like rapists or anything. They're just fucking giant creeps. You know, just asking weird things, and like Hoffman just seemed like a real creep. Just failed attempts at trying to get laid.
Well, the crazy, I was talking to Kristen today about this Louis C.K. thing because I'm a big Louis C.K. fan.
Yeah, that sucks.
Which sucks. Yeah,
I was a big Spacey fan.
Yeah,
I thought he was
great
good at
actor.
everything.
He was always kind of creepy too, though.
Yeah, but he was great in everything because he was creepy.
But he played the creep so well.
Exactly.
No, but no, I was like.
San Diego.
The first thing Kristen asked me when I said something about Louis C.K., she was like, was he married? I was like, he used to be. And she's like, didn't he have kids? And I was like, he's got 2 daughters that he'll probably lose full custody of now.
Doesn't mean he's not deranged.
Yeah, it's like it's
comedians are fucked up in the first place.
I mean, they are, but they're not all diddling people or diddling themselves.
No, he's
around
the only
other
one
people.
with no, he's like the only one with real sexual assault allegations. The rest of
that
them,
we know of right now.
The rest of them just love to do a lot of drugs and kill themselves.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ, Greg. What's
Geraldo?
Yeah, Geraldo.
Ralphie made himself into a grave. Farley, all of them. Belushi,
all those good ones. Yeah. Phil Hartman's the only one that didn't do anything to himself. His wife was a fucking nutcase and shot him.
Why am I laughing?
Because you're sick.
I don't know.
Because I'm desensitized to everything.
That's the reason you eat your Kit Kat like an animal.
Yeah, it's fucking scarred you from the outside.
That's it. That's the breaking point.
That's it, man.
That's when you know your life is done.
We really got to the bottom of it.
When you grab a Kit Kat and one of these Kit Kats and you open it and you chomp down and think it's a good idea,
I'm telling
you've lost your humanity.
If you eat it like us, it'll taste better.
It does.
I feel like a salad tossing might feel good.
Yeah, that sounds about appropriate right now.
It's the same thing Louis C.K. said, and then everything went off the rails.
Call Kevin Spacey.
I hate the world and I'm dead inside.
Call Kevin Spacey.
Any sort of big cock.
I don't
would be
think
all right.
I don't think anybody's calling Kevin Spacey.
I'm not actually going to
soon.
speak for the rest of the show. I'm just going to use my 3 drops to communicate with you guys.
3 drops. We do need like a whole new batch of drops.
I know, man. They take a while to produce.
I know.
That's the problem. So do it for me.
What? If I had the time to do it at work, I would. If I was still working from home, I probably could have done it, but can't do it now. Fucking
There's something we haven't used in a while.
You know what I learned? That Tampa has the best titty bars in the
That's what
nation.
you called that Tampa Bay guy.
Hey, do they eat W's there?
Yeah. Do they eat W's? They love to eat W's.
You know who's eating up W's like crazy
Holy
right now?
Who?
Dave's Michigan State Spartans.
That's true.
Chewing them up.
That was the worst pregame speech I've ever heard in my life, by the way. But let's move on to college football because it's a lot better.
Matthew Stafford does not eat W's.
No, he does.
That was made clear.
T.J. Lang also said probably the worst pregame speech he's ever heard.
I love that Burkett asked him like if he's
eating a W.
Eating W's. Did you see that?
Or ask Gruden if Stafford's dropping the ball in a turkey hole.
Yeah.
or whoever it was that made the Twitter post about retweet if this is not your quarterback.
That was awesome.
Picture of
and like it had so many retweets.
And Golden Tate said times 1,000 or something like that.
Yeah. If I could retweet this 1,000 times, I would.
Anyhow. It was great. It was a great football game.
Are you happy, Dave?
Of course I'm pleased. I mean, why would I not be? Why would I not be? It was not a game.
More pleased than when your wife touches you?
I wish I knew what that felt like.
I haven't felt that in years.
Oh, I haven't been touched there in years.
Pretty soon I'm going to start eating Kit Kats like an animal.
Yeah.
No, but
symptom number 2.
That's how you know you lost your mind.
I did.
No, but look, here's the thing. Like, was I shocked at how the game went? No. Did I expect Michigan State to win? No. I knew it was, I shouldn't say knew. Nobody knows until it happens, but I felt very confident it was going to be a close football game.
Well, you knew it was going to go one of two ways from Penn State's side of things. They had just come off of 2 really hard-fought, tough games, one of which they had lost.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Back-to-back, and then they have to go on the road to take on a Michigan State team that is certainly better than any of us expected. But not only that, but a team that's, been playing up for a few weeks now. So it was like something kind of had to give in that game for one of the 2 teams. It happened to be Penn State, and Michigan State still played up to the level that they had been playing, and it was a perfect storm.
Back to their scummy ways.
Michigan
State.
I got.
Oh, dude, fuck that! You got to give credit to the quarterback.
I'm not saying.
I mean, Lewerke's been outstanding.
On that point,
they just scum it up. It's crazy.
On that point, I want to say for all the things, and I even as a State fan have been right there with you guys in shitting, and rightfully so, all over Dave Warner's ability as a play caller, right? But I saw something out of Michigan State this weekend, and I'm not the first person to say this, so I'm not trying to claim this take, but I saw something out of Michigan State this weekend that I have never seen under Mark D'Antonio that makes me. I'm not saying it's going to happen on a regular basis, but I like the fact that they actually threw some things out the window. Michigan State has always been what you think they're going to be. They are to a fault. They stand by that they're a bulldozer football team. They're going to run up the gut on you if they can. They're going to throw to create more holes for the run game. I mean that's what Michigan State is, right? The pass game complements the run game. That's the way they like to play. Michigan State, for the first time that I can remember ever in the at least like I said in the D'Antonio era, looked at their game plan, which I'm sure going in was similar to what it's always been.
These guys did a heck of a job.
Saw what was working on the field and what was going to give them a chance to be successful, and they threw out everything that they are typically comfortable with When have you ever seen a Michigan State football team throw 56 passes in a regulation football game? Never happens.
No.
Doesn't happen. They said, look, man, first of all, obviously it's a big testament to the Workie that they're trusting the kid. That's important too.
Well, with Dave Warner, it's like, okay, dude, slow down. Like, it's good that that finally happened. But like, to your point, Dave, this whole 1970s mentality of using the run to set up the pass and lining up in the I formation every time it's fucking 3rd and 2 and getting stuffed. That was the issue that I think people had with Dave Warner, and I think that was accurate.
Yeah,
like,
no, it is, and that's my point. This is the first creative game plan I've seen from him in a long time, and also to the same token, if you're gonna throw the ball 56 times, you got to be able to trust your playmakers too. And man, have the Michigan State receivers grown up so fast in front of our eyes.
Yeah, I think
it's impressive.
I think that was like huge in the game. I mean, the field was wet. It was slippery and chunky, and the receivers they knew where they were going.
A lot like Dave's mistresses.
Slippery and chunky.
It was right there. I had to.
But why are they slippery though?
Well, you tell me.
Yeah. He likes the sweaty ones.
Were they all oiled up? That's way grosser than I expected you to go, but thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Wait, sweaty and chunky go hand in hand.
They just wake up sweaty in the day.
Like, they don't glisten like dainty broads. They sweat.
Yeah. I glisten more than they do.
But
and he's not talking about his dong for
they
once.
just took advantage of the secondary just being a step slower, and that was a great game plan.
Felton Davis turned into a star.
Penn State made a lot of mistakes in that game too.
They did, but the testament of a good football team is to take advantage of the opportunities and the openings you're given, and Michigan State did that really well.
Here's a fun theory for you. If Michigan State finds a way, I'm not going to go too overboard. If Michigan finds a way to get to the Big Ten championship game, which is not impossible, right?
Not at all.
Basically, you win this weekend. If you're Michigan State,
you're probably getting there.
As long as you don't slip up, you're probably in, right? If he does that, if Mark D'Antonio is able to get his team to do that, does it kind of feel a lot like a football version of another pretty famous coach at Michigan State? Because think about Tom Izzo. Obviously, D'Antonio doesn't have the track record of doing this.
Well, not the same longevity, but it's getting close.
Doesn't it kind of seem like if Michigan State were able to do that, it's almost like those Izzo teams that, didn't have the best recruiting classes coming out, what was supposed to be that down year for Michigan State, kind of that rebuild year in basketball. Fucking Tom Izzo takes his team to a Final Four, and then, we've seen subsequently that he's had a rough time with better classes.
Well, I think you could. That's actually a good comparison. I wouldn't even have thought of it until you said that. But I like it. I think it is a comparable scenario to the 2014 Michigan State basketball.
These guys
team,
did a heck of a job.
The Travis Trice team.
Yeah.
Now, I think Michigan State's football team, I think, is more. I understand, obviously, the sports are totally different, and football's got 53 guys, and it doesn't compute completely. But as far as the basis of talent, I think Michigan State's football team this year, to me, is a more talented group than that basketball team was overall as a whole. But to your point, I would say that this year. Honestly, maybe even regardless of what happens in the next 3 weeks, even if Michigan State loses this weekend and then is able to come back and win against Maryland and Rutgers, which they should, obviously, and finish the year with 9 wins and go to a bowl game, I think, to me, that's probably Mark D'Antonio's best coaching job as a Michigan State head football coach. Coming off of what you came off of with basically no expectations. I mean, people were basically
so much uncertainty out of what you were going to get out of the quarterback position.
You had people going as low as 5-7 for this team. You had people saying they thought they were probably no better than a 6-6, maybe 7-5 if they played really well kind of football team.
Well, isn't Michigan State kind of an excellent example of how important? Like, if you still needed a fucking example for how important the quarterback position is,
100%.
look at Michigan State. Nobody thought Brian Lewerke was going to be this good.
No, and here's the thing.
Even the most ardent Michigan State slappy didn't think he was going to be this good.
I think I can't remember. I was either talking about it right before.
I'm going to savagely eat a Kit Kat in front of you now.
I know who you are now as a person, so I'm not. It's not going to throw me off. I can't remember if I was saying that. Me and Chris were watching the game.
It broke,
and I can't remember if I was saying this before the rain delay or after the Felton Davis touchdown that happened right after the rain delay ended. But I'm sitting there thinking, it might have been after the Felton Davis play, which, by the way, was a great play on both ends. It was a very nice throw, but it was also by Lewerke in the sense that it was either going to be a touchdown or it was going to be incomplete. There was no ifs, ands, or buts that it was going to be an iffy pass. It was a great throw, and Felton Davis went out and got it, and looked fantastic doing it. But I turned to Chris and I'm going like, oh my God, how nice is it to watch a Michigan State quarterback actually know how to play the quarterback position? Because watching last year was just so hot. I mean, on top of everything, the team just wasn't good at all. But watching the quarterback play last year, going like, what is this? I don't know what this is. It certainly isn't. It's certainly not good. I know that. So I mean, it is. And what a horrific. It was a horrific blip. It looks like, and it looks like it is actually a blip, which is huge for Michigan State as a program. But man, trying to watch Tyler O'Connor run an offense was like pulling your teeth out of your head, man. It's terrible.
Well, that's now, Jeff and I understand after having to watch John O'Corn.
Yeah. No, I would take John O'Corn over Tyler O'Connor any day of the fucking week, dude. Trust me.
I'm sure you would.
Any day of the week.
I'm sure you would, especially with a better offensive line.
but I understand your point. And yeah, it's. And I mean, look, we were talking about this before we started the show tonight because you had the Pitt North Carolina game on, and I was joking about Mitch Trubisky, obviously, who played North Carolina last year, and I'm going like, man, I guess probably in football in general, but I think even more so in college than in the pros at times. It is so a team that is a good program. A team can drop off so fast when their good quarterback leaves or the quarterback play dissipates. It's like it is the absolute common denominator for what makes a good football team is that you have to have a good quarterback. It goes without saying you have to have one, especially in college. If you don't have a good quarterback, you're not going to be a good team
unless you're playing Minnesota.
Well,
you run for almost 400 yards between two running backs.
But okay, fair. But does that automatically make Michigan a good football team though?
No, but you don't need a quarterback against a team like that.
That's true.
But on the Michigan end, Randy Peters still have no idea what we're working with.
That's true. You don't have no idea.
I just don't care. I'm not taking much out of a win in prime time against a Minnesota team that is far worse than I expected them to be.
How many times did he even throw the ball? Like
13 times.
I was going to say 12.
He was 10 for 13 and
didn't really have to.
They just ran the ball they had 460-plus yard runs or something.
Well, yeah, didn't they have the two main running backs had like almost 400 yards between the two of them?
Yeah,
it was like 200 and 187 or something.
Like 191.
Insane.
So
remember when I gave Minnesota a chance to win that division?
Yeah, but you didn't know.
I don't think you can look back in hindsight and say that was a stupid call because it wasn't at the time.
No, because you just thought PJ Fleck was going to coach those players up.
But then you look at
they don't have a quarterback.
Look at the way PJ Fleck started at Western,
and they lost some key defensive guys.
1-11 his first season.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
He'll be fine,
and he's never coached against this kind of, like we were talking about last week. He hadn't coached against a Jim Harbaugh yet. Aside from
he's running against the gauntlet most weeks that he never had before.
Yeah, now he's coming up against all kinds of really good coaches.
You know what? He's a good football coach. He will figure it out.
Yeah, they'll be good.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
But
like you said, they don't have a quarterback. They lost some key pieces on defense a couple, 3 or 4 weeks ago. They're not even the same team that they were when they started the year, and they were already not going to be able to withstand like a ton of loss. And then they lost some guys, and it spirals quick. It happens. Yeah. They'll be fine. They still have a chance to be bowl eligible, and if they can do that, I would say that's a relatively that might be kind of a win for PJ Fleck's first year.
And coming up this week, Michigan is basically no need to talk about them. They play Maryland, probably going to rout them.
Well, I think they might know a little bit about that coach on the other side of the field's tendencies.
Really, it's just Michigan State, Ohio State. That's
the big game of the whole week.
That's the big game, and I think Michigan State. They got it tough because they played a few tough games before, this Ohio State game. They're a little beat up, and Ohio State's, they're ready to roll. So they play really well this week. So,
well, I will say this though,
Michigan State's got a chance.
I would say we'll get obviously we'll get to them in the picks, but I will say this: Michigan State seemingly, and look, every year and every game is a little different. So I'm not trying to say that it's necessarily going to 100% translate, but the last couple, the only game that JT Barrett, 76-year-old JT Barrett, that's what it feels like, because it feels like he's been at Ohio State for 100 years. But the only game that he has played where they really tuned Michigan State up was his freshman year when they went off for like 49 points or something like that. The last 2 years that they've played, even last year when Michigan State was not a good football team, Michigan State had a chance to win that game. They did, which would have been an incredible win because Michigan State was sucked. And obviously Ohio State was not what they are right now last year either. But still, look, I can tell that they have the formula to limit a big time star running back. They've done it 2 weeks in a row, and I think they can do it again against J.K. Dobbins. And if they can limit Barrett's impact on the game, which they can, they've done it the last 2 years, Michigan State's going to have themselves a chance to win. I'm not calling for them to win right now, but I think it's going to be. We talk about how much they muck up games, and they're good at it. Yeah. I think it's going to be very similar in a lot of ways to the Penn State game.
It's going to be the Big Ten race is going to be very interesting.
I do think Ohio State, heading back home.
That makes a difference.
Is going to have an effect. I think they're pissed at the way they played.
They should be,
and they just still have so much to play for. The issue that you might run into is that the expectation at Ohio State now is national championship or at least playoff. Their shot at getting to that playoff right now is pretty borderline. I think borderline's being generous.
State, they got to beat Michigan.
Only team really in the Big Ten with a chance of the playoff is Wisconsin. That's it.
I would disagree with that. I would actually say Michigan State has a decent chance at the playoff because if you beat Ohio State, you've already beaten a number 3, they weren't number 3 when they played them, but you beat a highly ranked Penn State team. You've beaten Ohio State. I mean, there are some marquee wins. And then if Michigan State goes to the Big Ten championship game and beats a highly ranked Wisconsin team, I mean, you could see Michigan State in that mix of that top 6.
But it's going to be muddled though because even in that case, and it would be totally unprecedented to do this, obviously. But even in that case, let's say Wisconsin,
everything would have to go right.
Let's say if Wisconsin goes into that game undefeated and then they lose in the conference title game, that's their first loss. Michigan State is a conference champion, but they still have 2 losses, and the team they beat would only have 1.
Yeah, but I don't care. I think Wisconsin for the most part is. From a national competitive standpoint, is kind of a fraud.
It is right now. They haven't played a very tough schedule.
I think that's
2 games. You know the next 2 games are?
The committee's going to recognize
Iowa.
They've got Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa and Michigan back to back. And so I think those are 2
I'll be rooting,
very tough games.
I will be rooting for Michigan against Wisconsin for sure. For sure, especially depending on what happens this week when Wisconsin plays Iowa.
Yeah.
If Iowa goes out and beats Wisconsin this week and gives them a loss, I'll be rooting hard for U of M. Against Wisconsin. Obviously, some of it will depend on what Michigan State does. I'll still be rooting for them anyway.
And at this point, the way that Ohio State's played and their ups and downs, I mean, that Michigan-Ohio State game, who knows what we're going to get out of that thing?
It's going to be weird.
It's got Brandon Peters going to have 2 more games under his belt.
But Jeff's getting hopeful.
No.
I've been hopeful. There's no reason why they can't beat them.
The other thing when it comes to playoffs,
there are a few reasons.
When it comes to playoffs, though, is as much as yes, there would be a lot of things that would have to go right, and there the last couple weeks of the season, there's oftentimes some chaotic things that happen.
Crazy things happen.
But like even the Big 12, the Big 12 right now has a very good chance that there might be a 2-loss team that's conference champion.
I think what we need to do now, gentlemen, since we're here and we can talk plenty more college football in the hopefully 15 or so minutes that we have left in this show.
In your special
talk, we do have a very special edition of the picks. Very special edition of the picks. Why is it so special? Because we are taking the NFL, we are putting it in a Ziploc bag, and we are sticking it under the kitchen sink next to the overflow bucket. Because the NFL's games are hot toilet this week. However, this is the week of the gauntlet in the college game. So we have 5 games, and yes, they all take place on Saturday. A college-only picks special. And we start in that aforementioned Big 12, David Faze. De facto playoff game here, gentlemen, as the TCU Horned Frogs are headed to Norman, Oklahoma to take on Baker Mayfield and the Sooners. TCU getting 6.5 on the road against Oklahoma. Who do you like, Geoff?
At Oklahoma?
Yes.
Give me Oklahoma.
If my pen would work.
I think Baker Mayfield just got that team doing good things, scoring lots of points. And I just think it's a shootout between those two teams. Oklahoma wins. Covers that 6.
Okay, Geoff. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm looking right at him and calling him Geoff. Right at him.
Not your first time, won't be your last.
Nope.
This game is unfortunate. I am going. I went back and forth as Geoff was talking, but my gut is telling me the same thing that Geoff said, which is that Baker Mayfield's going to find a way to. Maybe right at the end, but he's going to put this game out of reach.
But what are your loins telling you?
I don't know. They're way too sweaty.
Gross.
I'm gonna go with Oklahoma as well.
But I'm looking at slippery, chunky chicks.
Oh.
while you've been
cottage
talking.
cheese.
That is horrific.
He's just looking at a tub of cottage cheese. That's all he's doing.
I challenge you to go and write slippery, chunky chicks into Google and see what comes up.
No.
Go do it on Pornhub.
No. Plentyofhoes.com.
You don't even need to.
Oh, I forgot. I just realized. I'll do that in a second, but I forgot to get the standings. I got to get my pick first.
All right.
I'm going to take these points all day. I'm going to take the Horned Frogs because TCU has a top 10. It's top 10 in total defense in the country. Oklahoma can't play defense for anyone or anything.
You're right, they can't.
And all TCU needs to do, slow this offense a hair. Now, rely on your and then rely on your offense to outscore the other one.
Oh, love your cliches.
Offense versus defense in a game that is 6.5 points. I like those points, so I'm going to take TCU here.
All right.
So the standings are as such. Last week, good week for David Faze, going 4-1. Geoff and I both at 2-3. So where does that put the standings? Well, I'm currently in first place at 28-17. In second place, David Faze at 25-20. And tied for second place, Geoff Mel at 25-20.
Davis with the comeuppance.
I made a leap, boys.
All it takes is one good week.
I made a leap.
Now, you gentlemen are both 3 games back as we move to game 2.
I'm not worried.
I know you're not.
I ain't scared.
Another top 10 matchup in the ACC.
You strong?
I'm strong because I'm strong. We strong, then.
Go ahead and eat a W.
Stick it in the turkey hole, man. Did you hear
yes,
that
I heard
shit?
it.
Fucking turkey
I
hole.
love Gruden so much.
Meanwhile, we missed a Lions fumble on the TV set there.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's why.
They just didn't cover it.
No joke. I was like,
It was the
I don't
turkey
even
hole.
remember seeing them fumble.
It was the turkey hole
And
comment.
the turkey hole is what covered up the fumble.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's all coming together now.
All coming
That
back.
sentence as a whole was hilarious.
That's going to be a
The
drop.
turkey hole covered up the fumble. Okay.
Crazy.
Right.
For some reason, it was funnier coming from Dave.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like
Cut that one.
It sounds like he likes to diddle. It sounds like he likes to diddle the turkey hole of his sweaty, sweaty chunky shits.
Dave is excited at the word hole in general.
Hey guys, I found another turkey hole.
Why does everything about me have to be sweaty now? I don't understand. Like what? Like the whole Dave likes fat chick thing wasn't enough. Now it's all gotta be just sweaty and disgusting. And what happened?
It's all natural.
What happened?
It just comes to us. Can't force it.
God.
I don't make the rules. I just play by them.
Shove another Kit Kat in your mouth, you twat.
We have got to get to game 2 here.
Yeah, we do. It's taking way too long.
Number 3, Notre Dame on the road at a team that is still undefeated. The number 7, Miami Hurricanes. Miami for the second week in a row, undefeated, playing at home, and yes, a home underdog. Notre Dame giving up 3 and a hook as they take on the Canes in South Florida. What do you like, Dave?
Wow. Like I'm actually legitimately shocked at that.
Yes.
A number 7 team in the country is a home dog. It doesn't make any sense. God. You said 3, right?
3.5.
3.5. You know what, man?
It feels like one of those games that Vegas knows something we don't.
I'm gonna ride the wave. Give me the Hurricanes, man. I keep finding ways to pull it out, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick with it.
I'm with you. This game's at home. I'm sticking on the Mark Richt train here. I'm going with it. I'm going with Miami Hurricanes.
Give me the U.
By the way, on a side note about the coaching, have we seen a coaching move situation work out better than the Georgia and Miami hires? Georgia's very happy with Kirby Smart, and I think Miami is more than pleased with getting Mark Richt. He's done a great job over there.
It's like Dave can read my mind. The number 1 team in all the land, the Georgia Bulldogs. Going to Auburn. Take on the Tigers in a 1 versus 10 matchup. 2 top 10 teams this week. Home dogs. Auburn getting 2.5 to the number 1 team in the country at home. Who do you like, Geoff?
What was that? Say it again.
Georgia.
Georgia.
Minus 2.5 on the road at Auburn. Who, by the way, is number 10?
Give me Georgia. I can't be stopped right now. Whatever they're doing it right.
So they're not going to have... This isn't going to be...
It's no upset.
One of those cute 10-3 years for Georgia where they almost do something and never do.
No, I think they're legit. I mean, number 1, I don't think they should be number 1, but whatever.
No, that's just for effect.
That's just for fun right now to get Alabama out of there for the first time in 10 years.
Which does please me, though.
Yeah. I'm taking the Bulldogs, too. I it's tough to trust Auburn, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't trust Gus Malzahn.
Make it a trifecta, boys.
All right.
I've said it before. I said it before we started the show tonight, not even realizing that was going to be one of the games. And I'll say it again. Auburn is that team that it always is, with all the talent that they acquire, and they always have good talent. They never do anything with it. They always flounder. I don't know what it is, but Auburn can't figure it out. One day they will. They'll find the coach that'll get them over that hump. But for right now, it ain't there. And Georgia's playing really well. So
we move to game number 4, gentlemen. As the number 2 team in the land, the Alabama Crimson Tide, headed to take on our girl Brittany Wagner's boys, the Mississippi State Bulldogs. This is a 2 versus 16 matchup. Alabama giving up 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points, and an extra half. For those who don't know, that adds up to 14.5.
Man.
On the road at Mississippi State. Wow.
It's funny because
how about the number 16 team in the land being a 14.5 point home underdog?
Yeah. It's funny because I don't really watch Alabama. Like, I don't really pay attention to them because I just know that they're that good and they're always number one, really. And so I don't really know how well they're playing. If they're just kind of, just grinding people out and beating them. But I'll just take Bama. I just don't believe in Mississippi State.
I'll go if you would like.
Sure.
I'm going to take the Bulldogs. That's too many points for me for a home dog by a million. I don't know that I've ever seen a top 20 team that much of an underdog at home against anybody.
But everybody's got losses, so it's not like they're there's a bunch of teams that you could just move around in like the top 30 that all are about the same.
I guess, but that's still a big number. And even Nick Saban says himself, we're not going to beat everybody by 60. I think this is one of those times. I'm going to take a chance on the Bulldogs here.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see Alabama lose.
Who do you like, Dave?
I'm going to go ahead and go against what would probably be my better judgment on a game with this kind of spread. I'm going to take Bama, and I'll tell you why. If you look at Mississippi State's schedule this year, they have played 3 good ranked football teams and lost by about 30 to every single one of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Granted, I know 2 of them were on the road, but the one home game was against LSU, who is the worst of those 3, and they lost by 30 points. So I'll go ahead and take Alabama.
Thank you, Dave, for backing me up.
Very simple. Screams trap game, even though I know Nick Saban's teams don't get caught in trap games.
By the way, the other two,
they do. They just still win them.
Yeah, they're they get caught in spread trap games.
Those 3 games, I said LSU, that was a 37-7 loss. The other 2 was Georgia. They lost 31-3 on the road, and Auburn, the aforementioned Auburn, 49-10 on the road. So it's tough.
It's tough to know.
Oh, you know what?
Like Auburn,
my
too.
apologies. I'm sticking with my pick, but my apologies. That I read that wrong. The LSU game was a win. I apologize about that. But again, LSU worst of those 3.
That did sound a little strange.
I apologize.
I didn't think that was the case.
So that was a 37-7 win, not a loss. I apologize.
3 losses.
Huh?
I was going to say, how are they 16 with 3 losses?
Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, so Georgia and Auburn, they lost pretty handily too, though.
All right, game of the week.
Last game?
Also, because you mentioned Brittany Wagner,
yeah,
the Madison Heights High School football team, undefeated since she came out.
Hey,
she works her magic, baby. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, national champs.
Whee!
National champs. Yep.
Game of the week, gentlemen. As David Faze gets ready to lather up in the green and white butter this weekend.
It's white.
To watch his Spartans.
Slippery as all hell.
Take on the Buckeyes of Ohio State.
Everything's wet. I don't understand. Like, why?
The butter's slippery, Dave. You just lubed up in it.
Here's a fun spread for you. Michigan State getting 16.5.
It's up as high as 17, depending on where you're at. Right
yeah,
now.
you can get that extra half point for a couple extra chiclets.
I know what I'm doing here. I got burned last week. Not getting burned again. The Antonio's teams don't get blown out. The only blowout they had all year is Notre Dame, and that game was just weird from start to finish. I'm going to go with the Spartans in this one.
Yeah, that's a shitload of points. Michigan State always performs well against the spread, particularly in these big spreads.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give me Michigan State.
Yeah. There's not a chance in hell this is going to be a 17-point spread game. There's no way.
Like, it would have been tough for me to pick if it was like 10.5.
That's the thing. It's like even if Ohio State wins this game in what I would guess would consider handy
like if they're
handy
up
fashion.
17, if they're up 17 in the fourth quarter and Michigan State scores,
I don't think they're even going to be up that much.
You see what I'm saying, though?
But here's the thing,
then, they're not even close to covering the spread, even though they whooped their ass.
Yeah, here's the thing. Even if Ohio State finds a way to win by 10, that's still an extra touchdown. That's incredible. There's no way.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no way.
Like even just being up by 17 in the fourth, and Michigan State scores, it's still.
And just because I can, because it doesn't make any difference to the pick, I'm picking MSU to win.
Whoa! That's a good call, Dave. That's a good call. You put your balls on the line for your team, and I respect it.
Put your mouth where our balls are.
Yep.
30-27.
Lather in that slippery green and white butter.
30-27.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
And you want to know something else?
I love that drop.
I'm even going to take it one step further. I said 30-27, right? Yeah. Michigan State's going to be up 30-20 in the fourth quarter, and MSU's Ohio State is going to get a touchdown to make it 30-27.
Dave wants some respect right now.
No, I'm just. That's just my pick, man.
Calling a shot.
Why do you talk that way?
I don't know, because I got oily loins.
Sweaty.
Oily, greasy.
Sweaty, chunky chicks.
Gross.
Oily is a great word for your loins.
He talks like he knows from experience, like something weird happened that I'm not aware of.
When I started calling my loins oily, it'll change my whole life.
Yeah. Just sounds like a bad infomercial.
Oh, don't give me any ideas, even though I don't have time to write shit.
And then at the end, it's going to be that one doctor from like the drug help hotline who's just a total Jew. There's no way he's a doctor.
Oh, the one.
You know the guy I'm talking about.
Where the one guy was like, I use crack cocaine, and you look at this guy, and he's like, there is no way that man has ever used crack cocaine.
It looks like a parody commercial.
I know.
When I first saw it, I thought it was like an SNL skit.
Let me see if I can find it.
It does not look real.
I thought maybe it was an Andy Samberg
Which commercial is that?
I don't know. It's just like a rehab commercial. I'm sure if you typed in like cheesy rehab commercial, it'd be the number one thing that pops up.
Yeah, sure
I love how you know how to Google things.
Yes.
Cheesy rehab.
Search optimization, my friend.
Cheesy rehab commercial. I wonder. I want to see if it is the first thing that comes up. It so is. The Addiction Network commercial. Oh my God, this is.
I was on heroin. It was oxy.
Nailed it.
I used crack cocaine. Every hour, 13 people die from drug or alcohol abuse.
This guy, not a real doctor.
Addiction is an epidemic. We all know what happens when you don't deal with addiction.
My expectations for the rest of the night are to do many, many more recreational drugs.
Addiction
I was
is
so
a
mad at
disease.
the fact the way that guy said
We are
that.
the Addiction Network. And if you've been trying to quit your addiction to drugs or alcohol without any luck, then you need to call the number on your screen now.
I need to go to
We'll
candy
connect you
rehab.
with someone who's been where you are.
Why do you talk that way?
You can't beat addiction on your own. So make the call now.
Willy Wonka's
The call is
candy
free.
rehab.
The consultation
Yeah, all right,
is
I'll
free.
see you guys there.
And the referral is free. If you have private insurance, your treatment could be
Cocaine.
every hour.
It's crack cocaine.
Every
For me.
I used crack cocaine.
every hour, 13
You gotta pull that one.
I use crack cocaine.
It's like, no, you haven't.
No, you haven't.
You look like a fucking lacrosse player at Hope College. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
It's like you've used as much crack cocaine as that doctor's gone to medical school. A bunch of none.
There's as many skinny chicks as Dave has had sex with.
Very few.
I'll make sure I tell my wife you said that.
She doesn't count. She's your wife. I'm talking about your mistresses.
Yeah. She doesn't know about those, though. So
Yeah, so we're good.
Don't tell the world.
Okay.
Just sits and takes it, Dan.
I mean,
sometimes you just have to.
Sometimes you do.
Should we terminate this podcast?
I don't know what song Geoff was just creating.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
I think Geoff was just writing a country song just all of a sudden.
Sounds like a country song.
Poops are wild.
We're gonna we'll go out to the chick that Dave and I decided officially. Yep, she's still hot.
Yeah.
It's not much of an argument. She's attractive.
No argument from Geoff.
She's attractive.
Hey, look, Jeff's writing his name again. He's doodling.
Yep.
We were wondering if that was you or Mike.
Oh, I doodle. Mike doodles on here too.
Yeah, I'm guessing Mike is the one that wrote Mike.
No, I wrote Mike.
You wrote Mike.
I wrote Mike.
So now Jeff's writing everybody's name.
Did we go over this last time when Mike was here?
last week?
He's like, I definitely didn't draw this.
Oh, we asked Mike if he wrote it, if he drew any stuff, and he had doodled something, but he was like, "No, I didn't write Jeff a bunch of times."
They're just writing each other's names.
Also, by the way, Jeff, I think you missed how me and Dan were talking about how ridiculous these couple things look out of context? Just Dan needs to put a merkin on his face.
With a date.
We're gonna make a whole bit out of this. We're gonna go over some of the Mike Tripp notes that are out of context that are absolutely hysterical. But that'll be coming at a later time on Out of Bounds Detroit Sports.
All right, so I know what you guys' actual picks were.
Yeah.
And I'm asking you honestly.
Yeah.
What is your pick for the game, Michigan State, Ohio State? What is your? You don't have to give me a score, but necessarily. But what do you got?
I think Ohio State wins by like 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Okay.
13 points maybe.
That'll do it for us.
Goodbye.
Very nice.
By the way,
yeah.
Breaking news: Richard Sherman, I think, tore his ACL. Or I'm sorry, Achilles.
Oh,
Achilles.
So it sounded like a gunshot out there on the field.
Apparently, he was helped off, and the cameras caught him supposedly mouthing to his teammates, "I tore my Achilles." So,
wow,
that sucks. Yet another star down.
Well, there you have it. For David Faze, Geoff Bell, I'm Dan Griffin. You've been listening to Out of Bounds Detroit Sports on sportsradiodetroit.com, and we are out of here.